Hi, everybody. It's Sue, and we are on foundational health pillar number 4. This one's going to be all about stress. Oh my gosh, do we not have stress in our lives? This world is chaotic. And it's really not the stress in the world that I want to talk about, it's our stress response. How do we respond to stress? And what is stress? What even is that? Most professionals would say that stress is anything that creates uh, a chemical hormone response that takes us from a calm nervous system to a fight or flight nervous system. And a lot of people use this analogy of, if you were walking in the woods and you saw a bear, it would kick off our central nervous system into this fight or flight mode. It would shoot off a bunch of adrenaline and cortisol, and we would run for our lives faster than we ever could. Well, we don't see a bear every single day, but we definitely have similar stresses in our lives, and we have it pretty consistently now. So somebody cuts us off on the road. Somebody calls and is angry with us. We're late for work. We have a boss that's difficult. All those things can up-level that stress response, and then we live with this cortisol and this adrenaline in our system that really can make us sick over time. And so one of the things I wanted to ask you is, what kinds of stress responses do you deal with? What's in your life every single day? I know I have grandchildren, and my daughter would probably have a completely different set of stress responses than I do living on my own with my partner. But we all have them. And some of the symptoms that you can tell that you are having too much stress in your life, the big one is anxiety. It is rampant in our culture. Another one is sleep issues, and they feed each other. How about, do you get sick often? Or do you have body pain? We know that stress and our soft tissue in our body can hold these stresses in our body. And so when we get pain, or we have discomforts, or we have dysfunctions in our body, a lot of times it's stress related. Or how about chronic headaches? Do you end up getting headaches because you're tense all the time and your shoulders are so tight all the time? Stress eating. Stress drinking, not eating. So those are just some of them. I actually have an experience of someone that I know that, this was really severe. She had a heart attack at 64 years old, completely healthy person. And her doctors diagnosed it as it was a stress response, chronic stress response from cortisol and adrenaline that basically shut down her heart. And it was real. She was in the hospital, she was treated, she's on medicine. So the stress can really wreak havoc in our body, as we don't really even pay attention to it. It's just something that we live with on a day-to-day basis. It's been my experience that, just like with all the other modalities, if we do something consistently every single day, it will build on itself. Little small things that you add into each day. So I'm going to give you 4 little tips that you can start to think about. And I want you to remember that I am a health counselor. I do work with yoga therapy. I do work in this field with people. So if you need extra guidance, please reach out. So the first thing I want to suggest is that you do something called belly breathing. A lot of people don't know about this, and if you're in a stress response, your body can't do it, and then it creates more stress in the body. And basically, the simplest thing to do is just to put your hands on your belly and try to inhale and bring the breath all the way down to your hands, and you'll feel your belly expand. And then when you exhale, the belly will just soften and go back to where it normally is. And you try to do this maybe 5 to 10 breaths. Stop what you're doing, take a nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale, and keep trying to bring the breath down into the belly. What actually physiologically happens when we're in a stress response is our diaphragm, which sits right here, gets constricted and it won't move, and we breathe up here, which will create an anxiety response. And so we want to try to break that loop as much as we can. The second thing that I want you to do is use essential oils. We know that essential oils, if smelled through the nose, goes right directly to the limbic system and into the central nervous system, and it will shift you faster than anything else. So if you took an essential oil, I happen to have lemon, but I would probably recommend lavender or something like that. A couple drops in your hands, rub your hands together, take 3 deep breaths, covering your nose so that it goes up into your brain, belly breathing. 3 deep breaths. I promise you this will help. The third thing is I want you to start to think about how you can incorporate some kind of meditation into your day. They've got wonderful apps on the phones now if you work with smartphones, like there's one called Calm, there's one called Breathe, and you can research them yourself and find one that works for you. There's so many on YouTube, there's so many things out there. Just taking the 10 belly breaths could be considered a little meditation. Somehow break the cycle of the stress so your body can reset itself and rebalance itself. And then the last one, which can be an entire topic on itself, but I'll just mention it, is self-care. And self-care, I'm not talking about going to the spa and getting a massage, although those things are wonderful. What I'm talking about is every single day, what are you doing for your own self-care? Are you taking a walk in nature and getting some fresh air? Are you journaling? Are you going to bed early enough so that you get a good night's sleep? Are you keeping people close to you that love you and that are like-minded near you? Are you eating really well? How are you taking care of yourself and sending the message to your body that you matter and that you love you and that you're going to take care of yourself? So those are 4 tips. Each one of them are big. Each one of them are important. I'm sure there's many, many more that I could go into. But again, I want to remind you to please reach out to me or anyone else that you know that can help you with this, because dealing with stress on a day-to-day basis will only make us sick, and it will not help our well-being. We will not be vital, and it'll just be harder. Our life will be harder. So I'm excited to share this information with you. Next week, what is our pillar next week? I think it might be on sleep. So look forward to that. And please subscribe. And if we can keep the comments going in the section below, I can follow along and give you some tips or answer questions. Just make sure you make the comments so I can see them. Anyway, thanks for following along, and I'll see you again next week. Have a great day.